And he probably didn't want to talk about that shit in real life. Like, that shit be deep.
When you was on that documentary, did you catch any backlash when people seen you on there? Was anybody kind of upset with you on that documentary and shit like that?
Hell no. Hell no, because we ain't do shit like, it was just a regular ass documentary. We regular kids.
Right.
We regular kids speaking about what's going on in the hood. Like, it wasn't no big ass situation. Like, after that, you see, motherfucker had bikes, motherfuckers talking. After that, motherfucker rode the fuck off, went their ways. Like, shit, I went my way. Food and went their way and did their thing.
Was it surprising though that this whole thing blew up? Yeah, did you know that Jojo, these events about Jojo life was gonna be all over the internet? The whole world was gonna care about this. Did that shock you any? And you knew that the whole world was gonna be involved and wanted to know about this.
I already knew it was big when we was out. It was big when we was going to school. It was big when we was in high school.
Yeah.
Shit, that shit's still big now. Like, motherfuckers still following the wave from that shit. Like, it was big then, like, but like, you just had to know how to move. Like, you either gonna be in the mix or you ain't gonna be in the mix, or you gonna be in the mix and do your own thing.
Right. You know, a lot of rappers I talk to in front of this camera tell me that Jojo death turned the city up. You know, that was the beginning.
It turned the city all the way up, G. It turned the city up to the max. Like, the city ain't been turned like that since then. Like, I ain't seen nobody turned since then. People done tried to get turned, but ain't nobody been turned like that since then. Like, he did it. Like, he had the city. Like, people done lost. Like, ain't nobody, like, Von did it too. But Jojo died in his city, so he did it. Like, it was his city. Like, what else could you say? He lived here, born here, raised here. Blood, sweat, and tears in his mother.
You also knew the legendary Lil Pt2.
That's my cousin. Like, that's my cousin, bro.
Right.
Like, I went with folks to his first mixtape. He shot his first mixtape in the fucking Ops Hood on 80, bro. We walked so he could shoot his mixtape, and the Ops already knew we was over there. They came through the cut on some bullshit. Like, we done been there, like, and we still got low, got up out of there, went back to the hood. And he let me hop in one of the videos, look on my IG. I got one of the pictures of me. I'm in the picture with his first mixtape. Me next to him, he got another scene with him by himself, same shirt. Like, I'm like, damn, for like, all right, cool. He let me, like, if you was around Mr. didn't get no fuck, you fuck with him, you fuck with him. Like, you want to go studio with me? All right, cool, let's go studio.
You know, the Mr. had several videos that kind of went viral on the internet that showed him in that neighborhood. You know, and then news kind of broke that he had passed away in that neighborhood. Is that true that he was in that neighborhood? Because
yeah, he was on Harvard.
But you know, these neighborhoods, he rapped about these neighborhoods. These neighborhoods were famous. You know, millions of views on songs that talked about these neighborhoods. And you know, he was still hanging around those neighborhoods.
Yeah, like Mr. One High, like Mr. Grandma stayed in the hood. Everybody knew Mr. for like, he walked through that bitch every day. Like, he wasn't hiding for like, if you was from the Nickel, you was from 75th, you knew how to get in touch with Mr. If you was from 69th, you knew how to get in touch with Mr. Like, it wasn't hard. Mr. was in the community. Mr. didn't leave the community for like, he had money and still was in the hood with his money, smoking with niggas smoking them out. Even anything that happened with Mr. Fo was in the hood. Fo, he got robbed, it was in the hood. Guess what? The hood had to deal with it. That shit got back on the hood, and the hood had to deal with the bullshit. Like, it was his hood. So shit, and they like, that's where he from. So it don't matter. He gonna go through whatever he can go through around that bitch, cause that's his hood. Like, shit, that's what you do when that's your block. You gonna go through shit with niggas, for like, niggas gonna snake you out, bite you out, do that, but that's your brother, that's your block, so that's where you from. Like, that's what make you where you from, cause you don't leave.
And he was related to Lil Durk. That was true, or that was just some shit the internet put up?
Yeah, they supposed to be related. Like, I can believe it, cause they family on Union, everybody on Union, Central City. Durk originally from Central City. He was really a GD from Central City, so.
What you mean Central City?
Central City GD is like, that's like 75th and Union, 75th and Emerald, all that shit Central City. 76, that's at Central City. And then before that.
And you said Durk's originally from there?
He originally GD from Central City. His daddy from Central City. His daddy, Big Durk from Central City. Like, that's his bloodline. That's who he is, deep in his blood veins. He's Central City, and then everything else come out over that, and they cover everything else get covered. But when you go to the root of his shit, it's GD from Central City. That's where he from. That's where he born and fucking raised.
You know, I got a tough question I want to ask you now. You know, this is a real tough question, and I wasn't going to ask this question. But since we on the Lil Durk topic while we speaking about Mr., I want to be transparent since I got you in front of this camera. You know, a guy by the name of O Block J Hood, he kind of went viral, jumping on the internet, you know, with these stories about what happened in the communities back in the day.
I ain't never get to see that. I probably was in jail.
But he did an interview with Fuchsia's TV, and he kind of made claims that says King Von was behind Lil Mr. death. Now, I know that's a strong thing.
Hell nah. Absolutely nah. Absolutely wrong. Von was living his life in Atlanta, doing his own shit, going back to O Block, doing his own personal shit. He ain't had shit to do with that. Mr. has shit going on in the community. The community know that we all had shit going on. That was what's going on with Mr. That shit, Von was living a whole nother life. He was probably on live somewhere doing some more other shit.
Right. Do things like that, comments like that, videos like that make the neighborhood hot? Make it.
Hell yeah, just like, cause y'all spreading fucking lies. Like, y'all know damn well this nigga had a whole fucking life in Atlanta. This nigga got a whole fucking everything. Look what the fuck going on now. He got all type of shit going on where he was at. He had shit going on there. He had shit going on where he was living at. Like, he ain't thinking about, what the fuck, you can't come in 75th or around our community unless you from the community or got a blood-related ties to the community. That's our community.